Hey, what's going on, dudes? My name is MrRhexx, and we are back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim. On the last episode, we continued our quest to finish the Mehrunes Razor, the Daedric artifact of Mehrunes Dagon. Today, we're going to finish that quest. We have collected the last of the pieces, the last of the 3 pieces needed to make this weapon whole again. But before we go and do that, I just wanted to answer just a singular question. I know that some of you guys have been wondering, why have I not been taking the unusual gems, the stones of Varinsaya? I'm actually saving them for one of the last things that I do in the game. Yeah, I'm gonna need a guide, of course, for those because there's so many of them, and they're all in very specific, different locations scattered around the game. So I want to make sure that I don't grab them, so that when I do get to them and I have my little guide, so that I can actually go and pick them up wherever they are. That I don't waste. Well, you know, I just want to make sure that they're there, so that I can collect them, show you guys where they are, and then collect them all in like one singular video, instead of going into a place and finding out that I've already taken them, and then, you know, makes it difficult for me to find them, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, whatever. That's one thing that we can worry about way later on. We're kind of early on that, so I don't want to worry too much about it. In any case, we're basically done here. I do want to, however, before we I need to fall before I can fast travel. There you go. The game will not let you fast travel if you don't completely fall. There's a few items I wanted to collect here. Is like a little area with a lot of potions that I neglected to obtain as I was passing through here, just because I was so focused. Oh, these guys are not all dead yet. There's a couple of entrances that I haven't completely explored. I'm not really intending to. There's nothing particularly interesting for me to talk about during some of the dungeons found in this sector. There's a couple of potions that I do wanted to get. However, the bigger topic on this video comes to do not just about Mehrunes Dagon necessarily, and there really isn't much for us to talk about him. I do want to save some of the good stuff for our playthrough of Oblivion whenever we end up doing that. Most of what I want to talk about him has already been said, because most of the information can be gotten just through the ramblings of the Mythic Dawn cult, and you know, we covered some of that. The main topic has to do with the Daedric lords in general, and whether or not they can actually be killed, and we'll cover that in just a second. I just wanted to... Oh, I did get them! Or were they exploded everywhere? They were exploded everywhere. There's a lot of potions that you can find in that in that bookshelf. Like, they're all neatly organized. Tons and tons of potions. But it seems like they all just exploded everywhere, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to find them, unfortunately. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah, no, they're gonna be... Oh boy, they're gonna be scattered everywhere. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to find them. Oh well. Little bit of a waste of time, but it's fine. We don't have to worry about it. Let's go to Dunstar and complete this. Justin Ganzaboom number 2 says, I love the consistent uploads. Thank you, my man. No, thank you too. You guys have been great watching the series. It's been pretty consistent viewership, and so it really does mean that those of you who watch this series have been constantly watching every single episode, and I couldn't be more grateful for you guys that are keeping this going. Appreciate the gesture, man.
What is it? Do you have one of the razor fragments?
I have them all of the pieces together.
All at once? You're efficient. I like that. Here's your reward. Finally, all the pieces of Mehrunes Razor are in my hands. It's time I let you in on something. There's a 4th piece, that scabbard in the display case, built to house the razor. And there's more. I know how to put all the pieces together. We just need to take them to Dagon's shrine and contact the Lord of Change directly.
Ooh, that sounds like a terrible idea.
You don't want to be a part of history? Fine. I'll be at the shrine if you change your mind.
I mean, I didn't say I didn't want to do it. I'm just being frank. Okay, well, he's leaving. Alright, well, we're gonna have to go all the way to the Shrine of Mehrunes Dagon to see what that is all about. But first, now that he's actually away from his house, we can start looting things. Actually, there's nothing to loot. We can open some of these display cases. If you want to obtain the regalia that he's wearing, kind of, the Mythic Dawn robes. We're not particularly interested in any of this. We have the books, so you can actually read them, but these are the same books that you can find in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so nothing particularly new there. And of course, he took the scabbard of the razor, so there's nothing that we can do there. However, the real important thing, and of course, a lot of you that are knowledgeable in the arts of Elder Scrolls know exactly what I'm about to do here. We have our good boy here called MacLean. MacLean, number 2. He says, if you open the display case and hit the torn paper with lightning, it turns into a barrel. Easter egg. That is indeed, and of course, I hadn't forgotten. I know I got a lot of comments. I wanted to leave this for the moment where he would actually leave the house so that I could do this in peace. But indeed, there's something about this piece of paper that is special. If you hit it with virtually any weapon, at first I thought it was like fire. I remember that way back then. It's one of my first videos that I ever did on Skyrim. It was sort of showing you guys this Easter egg. I don't want to keep you guys in suspense. Essentially, if you hit it just right, you can turn it into a bucket. I mean, if you don't know about this, you're probably laughing right now. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. It makes no sense. This was probably a glitch originally that for some reason it happened. It hasn't been removed from the game. I would imagine that developers sort of realized that everyone loved this Easter egg, and they just decided to just keep it because people loved it. I just do not know how. I don't think it's an Easter egg in the sense that I don't think this is like on purpose. Like I honestly think this is like a glitch and they just decided to just leave it because it's awesome. But yeah, you can trigger this in any way. Colin, like you said, you can use lightning. I typically use flames. My normal starter flame spell. You can use sparks as well. Anything works and you can just kind of make it happen. It's a little bit ridiculous, but, you know, it's one of my favorite, Easter eggs, if you want to call that an Easter egg. It's great. I hadn't forgotten, even though many of you thought that I did. In any case, we're going to be making our way to the Mehrunes Dagon shrine, which is on top of a mountain. To get there, we're going to go from Volendruid and just climb the mountain. It shouldn't be too difficult. I don't think there's going to be a lot of enemies in here other than just, like, random wolves, so we shouldn't have any issues. So, we're going to take this time to answer one really cool question that you guys asked me on the 2 episodes ago, actually. It's from Daedric. You said, I have a question, Rex. If I want to kill a Daedric prince like Mehrunes Dagon, and somehow after killing him, what will happen? Will nothing happen, or will I absorb his power, thus making me the next Prince of Destruction? What do you think? Now, of course, we don't really have concrete information. It's not like we have the answer given to us. What's interesting, though, is that I think the first step into analyzing this question and getting to the bottom of this is, to be quite frank, to see the world through the eyes of the gods. Like, we can't... this is not what I want. We can't really, like, see the gods and the Daedric lords in the way that we see things here in the material world, in the world of mortals. Because, the Dragonborn, the elves, the humans, the Bretons, we're mortals. We have beginnings and end. We start and we end. And when we die, it's over. There's finality to these characters. And that's why we are mortals. Gods don't have those rules. Why? Because gods don't really have a corporeal form in the same way that we would have. The thing about Daedric gods, and just gods in general, like Akatosh, they are more thoughts and feelings and energies, rather than constructs made out of flesh and bone and blood. Mehrunes Dagon it's not just like the Daedric Lord of Change. He literally is change. If change was an energy, it would be Mehrunes Dagon. And that's really the best way that I can describe it. Can you destroy change? Not really. If you were to go to the realm of Mehrunes Dagon and you were to physically slay Mehrunes Dagon, I mean, he would just reconstitute. Like, there would be, like, you have no power over his realm because you don't really have, the realm is tied up to him, if that makes any sense. Like, we don't really have, it's difficult to explain because we don't really have many examples for this. The one example that we have, which is a very concrete and very explicit example, and I want to come here, you can find some really good gems in here. The one concrete example that we have is, of course, the events that transpired in the Shivering Isles expansion of Elder Scrolls Oblivion. During that expansion, we literally, not like metaphorically, we literally defeated and sort of killed Gigalag. And yet Gigalag is still kicking. He's still there. We didn't actually kill him. Now, allegedly, the main character of Oblivion, the hero of Kavach, ended up becoming the new ruler, the new Cho'Gorath. But it wasn't because he defeated Gigalag. That necessarily wasn't the reason. It was because the main character had the staff of Gigalag. It was the symbol of the powers of the Shivering Isles, and that symbol being voluntarily passed to the hero of Kavach. That's what made him into the new Cho'Gorath. Essentially, the energies, the powers that suffused the realm were freely given to the character. And he took the mantle, essentially. And then he became Cho'Gorath. You know, they say that the only way for you to become a god is to mantle that god, right? And this is essentially what, you know, Tiber Septim sort of did, allegedly, to Lorcan. Essentially what many other gods have done in the past, because you've had many different gods in the past that just don't exist anymore. The term mantling essentially means you becoming so much like something that you essentially become that something. Now, what does that actually mean? Let's say that you have the Daedric realm of love. How do you rule the Daedric realm of love? You can't just defeat love and then become love. You have to be love to become love, if that makes any sense. Like, you have the energy of change. The energy of change is Mehrunes Dagon. You can't just defeat change and then become change without becoming change. You have to become change to be change. You have to become Mehrunes Dagon to be Mehrunes Dagon, because Mehrunes Dagon is change. You know what I mean? And that's, you can't see the Daedric lords and the gods in the same way that you would see a mortal, in the same way that you would see Brian or Steven sitting in their chair drinking ale. Because they're not constructs of flesh and blood. They're energies, they're thoughts. Before Akatosh became a dragon, in quotes, before Akatosh became Akatosh, he literally was just a thought. He was a feeling. He was just energy. Akatosh was the first entity that got a corporeal form because he invented the idea of time. The other Daedric gods, the other gods, couldn't even do that. They couldn't even form a physical form because that just didn't exist back then. Yet, gods existed. How could gods exist if there weren't any physical forms for them to take? Well, because the way that we see things in this world is not the true way that things actually are. This world, this plane over here, it's just a cocoon. Our eyes are telling us that this exists, but it doesn't really exist. I'm getting like super metaphysical here, but like, if you actually go and read the books, the lore, you will see, and especially if you follow some of the actual like lore writers, like the actual real life people that wrote the lore for Elder Scrolls, you will see that the way that they see the gods and the Daedric lords, they don't see them as like people, entities, physical constructs. They are thoughts and feelings and whatever. And that's why it becomes different. You can't really kill love, right? So if there was a Daedric Lord of Love, it's not like you can just slay love and there's no love and you just take over the realm of love. It's just not that simple. So the main character, the hero of Kavach, if he really did become Cho'Gorath, it's because he became Cho'Gorath. There is no longer any hero of Kavach. He is now Cho'Gorath, and that's the only way that you can take over. You have to become that which you're taking over.
Never should have come here.
So technically, yes. I guess the answer to your question, Derry, yes, in some ways, but no. Kevin cannot rule and become. He cannot rule the Deadlands, the Daedric realm of Mehrunes Dagon. Only Mehrunes Dagon can. You have to become Mehrunes Dagon. I guess that's essentially what I would say. But then again, we don't really have an example of this happening. The Daedric lords literally could not kill Jiggalag. I mean, I don't know if they really wanted to, right? We know that the Daedric lords conspired. I'm gonna get the lord sound because I really like. I want some magic resistance as much as I can. We know that the Daedric lords wanted to get rid of Jiggalag, and they actually didn't end up doing that. They just cursed him. I imagine it's because that's the best that they could do, right? They actually couldn't kill. We, the players in Oblivion, killed Jiggalag, yet he's still going. Vivek allegedly killed Azura, yet she's still out there. I mean, do you actually think... I'm not talking about you, I'm just, like, making a point here. You're cool, Derry, I'm not talking about you. Do you guys actually think that, like, the gods didn't want to kill Lorkhan? They really wanted to kill Lorkhan. They just couldn't. They literally could not kill Lorkhan. They slayed the body of Lorkhan, they took his heart, and the heart literally laughed in their face. Ha ha ha, you cannot kill me. Because they actually couldn't kill him, right? They literally could not. Because what Lorkhan represents, it's more like an energy, it's more like a thought, it's more like an idea. You can't kill that. And so they couldn't, and they didn't. And he's still out there. And that's what makes it so difficult. Now, there has been examples of this Daedric lords essentially shifting in power. And, you know, we have Boethia, of course, who devoured Trinimec. But she couldn't kill Trinimec. She ended up pooping Malakath. Because I guess she couldn't. She just, in attempting to eliminate her, she ended up creating something else.
Good. You're here. I'll place the pieces on the altar, and Dagon should speak to us.
Yeah, you can try, brother.
Mehrunes Dagon, the Lord of Change. We have brought your razor to you. We beg you, please, bring the blade's full glory to Tamriel again. It's not working. Why don't you give it a try? Just put your hands on the altar.
A way that I like to see it is, let's say that you have a Daedric Lord of Love, and then you have a Daedric Lord of Lust. You can't really have Lust take over Love. Instead, what happens is you might have Lust almost like absorb and take over Love, and then you create a Daedric Lord of Sex, which is like a combination of the two, right? Like, that's kind of what happened with Boethia and Trinimec. Boethia devoured Trinimec, and then what came out was the Daedric Lord of the betrayed, right? Of the ostracized. Like, you basically almost like inadvertently created something else. Now, did Boethia actually want to kill Trinimec? I don't know. Did the Daedric Lords actually want to kill Jiggalag? I don't know. You know, all we have is just what happened, and we can make decisions based on that, and we can think about it. And of course, I would like you guys to leave it in the comments what you actually think about this stuff, because again, this is just what I think. This is my interpretation of the world, and you can take it if you want to, you don't have to. It's just hard because we don't really have, you know, like the best examples that we have is literally Vivek trying to kill Azura, and he just couldn't do it. And the many times that gods have, in quotes, died, but they haven't actually, so... it leads me to believe that it is just not truly possible unless you actually mantle them. Now, before I move on, I know that you guys might be getting impatient. We're not really going to do much other than this quest, so I want to take the time to actually talk about this. But the one cool example that we have, and this is what I was alluding to before, Clavicus Vial. If you're interested in this, I urge you to go watch my secrets video. It's the most recent secrets video that I did for Skyrim. It's Clavicus Vial Secrets. I'm going to try and link it at the end of this video. But in that video, talk about Umbra. Umbra is this entity that literally like absorbed an enormous chunk of the realm of Clavicus Vial and just took it. The fucker just took a bunch of land from Clavicus Vial, and that was it. Like, there was nothing that Clavicus could do. Now, the reason why he could do that was because Umbra was... Like, Clavicus Vial wanted to create a really cool weapon. A weapon that would steal souls and then give Clavicus those souls. The weapon eventually went rebellious, went independent, and of course rebelled against Clavicus, and he eventually took a piece of land from him. But the reason why he could do that, why Umbra managed to take a piece of land from Clavicus, was because Umbra was a part of Clavicus, right? What Clavicus represents, Umbra represented. So the same power structure was there. Umbra is Clavicus, and Clavicus is Umbra because they're made of the same thing. They're made of the same energy, the same feelings, the same thoughts. So yeah, Umbra just stole a piece of its land, and that was it. Like, there was nothing Clavicus could do. So I think that it's one of the closest things that we have, right? Like, I think the way that you would go about... If you wanted to just actually defeat Clavicus, if you wanted to eliminate Clavicus, I think you just absorb him. I don't know if you can defeat him. I don't think killing him in his realm would kill him. I think you would literally have to absorb his... Kind of in the same way as, like, a Dragonborn absorbs a dragon. In the same way, because souls in this world are almost invincible. Like, you can't kill a soul, really, in the world of Elder Scrolls. When you die, your soul just goes up into the heavens, right? And then just goes to Sovngarde or goes to Etheria. Like, you can't really destroy a soul. What you can do is entrap them. You can entrap them, you can use them, you can manipulate them, you can do all these different things. But, and you can banish them, of course. But, you know, dragons, for example, when they die, their souls do not leave Tamriel. They get stuck here, and a Dragonborn can snatch them and use himself as a vessel for these souls. And of course, he gets power from doing this. He gets further understanding into the brain of a dragon, which allows him to do the words of power. We know this, of course, because when you kill MrRhexx, you actually get a ton of souls, a ton of dragon souls. So it leads us to believe that, oh, the Dragonborn actually is housing, like a soul gem would. He's just housing all these souls. It doesn't seem to show that the souls can actually be destroyed, right? Now, of course, that's debatable, but the point that I'm trying to make here is one that I already forgot. Where was I going with this? I'm just rambling like crazy. I just think it's very similar, right? Like, I think that souls, like, you can destroy the physical body of a person. You can destroy the physical, like manifestation of the energy of an ideology, of change, or, again, love. I keep using love as an example, but, you know, whichever it might be, you would have to absorb the soul. You would have to absorb Myrun's Dagon and almost, like, become him in order to control his realm. I think that's how you would do it.
You, mortal, you are worthy of speaking to. You have claimed the pieces of my razor. It has been an amusing game to witness. But Dagon does not declare a winner while there is a pawn on the board. Kill Silas. He and his family have served their purpose.
But he helped me find the pieces. He deserves to live.
Only Dagon can declare if a pawn is worth keeping. I have spoken. Kill him. Take your rightful place as my champion, or I will crush you.
Wait. Don't kill me. There's another way. I can take the pieces back to my museum, seal them in a display case. You get a generous amount of gold, I get to complete my collection, and nobody has to die.
I mean, Dagon has spoken. Now, we'll be nice, guys. We were pretty evil during this quest line, so let's actually complete him normally. Or keep him alive, rather. You don't have... You're not gonna get the Myrun's Razor unless you actually kill him. So if you're an assassin, if you're playing the stealthy, you know, approach to the game, then you kind of have to do it. But we're not. So we're gonna play it nice.
Thank you. Here's your gold. I'll make a run for it back to Dawnstar.
You think to betray Myrun's Dagon. Suffer.
We're gonna have to, I don't know if he can actually die here, but he's just gonna run away, so we don't have to worry too much about him. Let's just do our best to kill this guy. This shouldn't be too difficult, to be honest. I don't know actually what happens if he were to be killed by the Grimoire right now. I don't think we would even get the Myrun's Razor. I'm actually not sure. So let's just hope that he actually doesn't die. Oh my god, this is bad. This guy's gonna run forever, isn't he? Can we foos a little bit? See if we can get his attention. Foos! Yeah, we got him. We got him. Alright, fantastic. We can get the hearts. And now they have actually dropped the keys into the shrine, so we're gonna get some really cool treasure. There's actually a lot of treasure inside of the shrine. It seems like some people have been communing with Mehrunes, at least maybe not communing, but actually giving him tribute, because once we go inside, you will see that, boy, is there a lot of treasure in it. I'm just getting my MrRhexx ready because there's gonna be some fighting in here too. Oh, the MrRhexx is already here. Cool, cool, cool. Let's go fight then. Oh no. Okay, okay. Worried that we're gonna block me. Alright, alright, alright. Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. Not too bad. There you go. And that's it. We completed the quest line. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the weapon, but we're not going to be... It's not like we would have used the weapon anyways. More importantly, though, like, just look at the amount of treasure. There's a lot of gold ingots. Like, if you guys are looking for gold ingots, this is the place. Some of these, like, treasures on the side, you can find tons of them. Look at this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's another treasure over here. I can sell those. That's no problem. And there you go. Alright, guys. We did it. The episode is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I actually had a lot of fun just answering your question, Derry. That was a really good question. Before we go, though, Torkelson said to me here, "Hi, Rex. Longtime fan of the series. I am so happy it's back. But I have a question. What's with Asura's star? Why is her artifact a soul gem, and why doesn't it break? Could it possibly have something to do with her making a deal with an ideal master?" That's a really good question, and I'm not going to answer this episode, but what I'm going to do instead is we're going to make, in your honor, Torkelson, in your honor, we're going to make the next Daedric Lord that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be dealing with, we're going to make it Asura, since we kind of mentioned her a little bit today. Because you guys brought in a few good points 2 episodes ago. You guys said, Oppo said, Vivek does not just lie. Well, he does nothing but lie. I kind of agree. Vivek is a little bit of a controversial figure, and it's hard to tell whether the lore that talks about him is even canon or not. I do want to cover some of that, and specifically talk about him kind of defeating and, you know, even just like killing Asura. I want to cover those topics on the next episode. Hopefully, we're going to be dealing with Asura. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up, Torkel, just for you, buddy. But that being said, make sure to like the video, comment, give me your questions if you have any, or just leave me your nice comments. I'll try and read them whenever I can on these episodes. Try and support me, please, guys, on patreon.com/MrRhexx. Just $1. It's a single dollar, guys. That's $12 a year. It's not that much money to you, but man, would it mean the world to me if you guys could do that. That would be so lovely. Otherwise, you know, it's fine if you guys just leave a comment in here and a like. That does more than enough to help me, or follow me on Twitter. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.